Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TripleJump Podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
Peter, are you feeling festive?
Not really. I left my jumper at home by accident.
Oh, but you're wearing a jumper, and it is
It's a
the
zip.
festive time of year.
I'm wearing one of these.
Hey, that's a true. I'm wearing the same one under here.
That's. Oh, there's a thread on that. That's Christmas relevant because you could get one of these for your loved one at triplej.merp/shop. It might be too late to receive it by Christmas now. I don't know what the postage is like, but
no, me neither.
Maybe a New Year's present or something. Anyway,
you're wearing a festive hat anyway.
I am. We've been wearing jumpers for the past few days in the office, and I thought I'd take it home, but should have left it here. Should have done it.
Should have done it, man.
Should just keep it here until the end of Christmas.
That's what I've done with mine.
You never know when you're going to need it.
I only wear it for like a couple of hours every couple of days, so
Yeah.
I haven't worked up that much of a sweat. Although we did yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
Bloomin' O'Reilly called blimey.
Well, that's sort of why I decided to take it home, but yeah.
No, that's fair. We're talking, of course, about the worst games ever Christmas tat appeal.
Ooh, yeah.
We finally unboxed everything, or we filmed ourselves opening everything. That'll be going out on Christmas Day, but it took an entire work day to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of us were expecting it. We knew how much we had, but I don't think we were expecting how long it would take us to get through it.
We'd forgotten how long it takes, particularly to get through like bigger boxes of things. When it's just like a sort of jiffy bag with one or two games in, it's very easy to just pull those out, read the letter, great, next one. But when you've got a box and each like small thing that's this big inside a box that big, for those of you watching on video, is going to have some sort of remark or discussion about it as it comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's this thing. Let's
play with this. Let's build this. Basically, what Peter's saying is that you were all too generous.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope that you can all outdo yourselves for the 2020 TripleJump Christmas appeal. But for now, it was a long day yesterday.
And we just ate sweets. And
we went through lunch.
Crisps.
We started at about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And we finished, it would have been like 7 o'clock is when we finished in the evening. So we just sat there all day opening things, which was amazing.
It was
a great way to spend a day.
Don't get me wrong.
But it was surprisingly exhausting.
Yeah.
Especially when all you had to keep you going, as Peter said, is Haribo, which provides short bursts of energy
and then
that
a
then
headache
makes you feel horrible afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't have proper food yesterday.
I felt like I needed a proper detox. I know detox is a bit of a stupid new age thing that doesn't really exist, but
Yeah.
I decided that yesterday it did exist and I needed it. I needed everything in my body to be removed, scrubbed with bleach and then put back in again.
Exactly.
Oh.
So the video is going to be an ungodly length.
Yes.
But it will be going out on Christmas Day, so if you've got some kind of Christmas Day hangover or Christmas Eve hangover or whatever, and you just want to lay in bed and watch it, maybe you want to blaze it and watch it. Who's to say, right? We're not going to judge.
Merry Christmas.
I might do that.
Yeah.
It'll be going out on Christmas Day. It's going to be such a long video.
Yeah, it is.
Before we go any further, Peter, it's time to talk about this week's sponsor.
Yes, it is.
I've got the ad read here.
Yeah.
Can I talk to you about old people?
Yeah, if you have to. If it's part of the ad read.
Wow. I just wanted to talk about old people, really. No, it is part of the ad, really.
Oh, okay.
So, nursing homes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do sort of the weddings. They get the young people to come in, the volunteers, and they pretend to be getting married for sort of the older residents of the nursing homes.
I didn't know they did.
Yeah,
that.
sometimes to
So
sort of like give them something.
Kind of got a wedding to sit.
Yeah, something nice to watch and stuff. Unsurprisingly, in this modern age, and as a youth, Peter, I'm sure you will appreciate this. Young people don't want to be doing that.
What, getting married or going to nursing homes?
Well, I mean, the first one is too expensive for young people to do anyway.
I agree.
But the second one, nursing homes, young people don't want to be doing that anymore. So, I've got a new website. This is what we're sponsored by. We're going to be looking for new young people on the internet. Are you ready?
For this reverse engineered pun.
Are you ready for this reverse engineered pun?
Sorry, this actual
sponsor.
sponsor.
No, this real sponsor.
Yep.
I should also mention that this is my... and this is really where I'm going to shoehorn it in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is my third attempt at getting this off the ground. Okay? Do you want to take it? Any stabs in the dark right now before I completely shatter your entire universe?
I'm getting there might be sort of try or triple in there, it being your third attempt. Or
not
three.
quite.
Okay.
So-
Wedding, youth, nurse. I don't know.
This is introducing my new website, Residence Evale 3. Residence Evale 3.
I'm not really sure what the word e-veil means.
As in the internet.
Oh, I see.
Veil.
Oh, veil, V-E-I-L.
As in weddings.
Residence, e-veil.
It's the Evale for the residence, and it's my third attempt. So it's the Residence Evale 3. And if you go to Residence E-Veil, as in V-E-I-L,
Yeah.
3, the number 3, or the word, I don't know, .com,
Yeah.
you'll be able to sign up and register to go down to a lovely nursing home and participate in a fake wedding.
A fake wedding.
A fake wedding to help
Residence.
all the... Anyway, that's a lie! That was a really difficult one. I was really trying to reverse engineer
I'm
that
a
one
bit
last
knackered
night.
now after
I was
that,
on
yeah.
my way home from work and I was thinking, how
What
can
should I do tomorrow?
Resident Evil 3 is relevant. How can I fit that in?
Yeah.
I did it though, but
You
it's a
did?
lie. You idiots! You fell for it. You always fall for it. Every time. Every time. Every time.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Who's it really brought to us?
It's actually not brought to us by Residence Evale 3. We asked them. They weren't interested.
No.
It's
They're doing really well.
Yeah.
They don't need any,
They don't need any help.
adverts.
It's brought to us by you or some of you, our patrons on patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Over there, you get all kinds of rewards for donating to us. But the minimum reward you get for even donating $1 is being able to ask questions on this podcast. So it's brought to you by everyone who's donated $1 or more.
Absolutely. There were some great questions this week. I added a lot to the document.
Nice.
Of ones that we couldn't get round to. So congratulations to those of you who have managed to slip in this week. I should quickly say, actually, before we move on to the first question, which I know you're all aching to hear, is that the Triple Jump Games of the Year that we're doing.
Yeah.
As I mentioned last week, we're doing it on this podcast. We're not doing dedicated videos on the channel because that's, people don't care about our opinion outside of our own little bubble, so why put the effort in, right? I mean, not that this takes no effort, but I just mean, big flashy videos, it's going to take up a lot of our time, and only the people
Editing
who
together.
watch this are gonna be interested. So we thought, let's do it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's get the patrons involved. So at the time of listening, there will either be 1 or 2 Patreon posts about the games of the year. And if you want to get involved, all you need to do is give us $1 and you can get in there and have a look at the thing. The first post, Peter, is asking for people's 5 favorite games from 2019.
Yes.
Once I have decided that that's long enough, I will take all of those. And the 5 games that appeared most frequently in that list of comments will then be put into a second post in the form of a poll, which people will vote for their favorite in, and then that will determine the order of the listeners/Patreon supporters' top 5 games of the year.
Yes.
Which we will list alongside our individual top 5 games of the year in a Games of the Year episode. I hope that makes sense. Go and look for those posts. We'll be posting about it on social media anyway. There we go.
I don't even know if I can think of 5, to be honest. 5 standouts.
I think you might be surprised, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you go through, we got Resi 2.
Resi 2,
We got
Crash.
Star Wars. We got Crash
Star
Team
Wars,
Racing. That's
yeah.
3 right there.
I mean, those 3 were going to be in there, yeah.
Man of Medan. That's 4.
Whoa. Slow down.
Loads of them. Question 1, Peter, from Brian Hart.
It's from Brian Hart. Hartt. That's how you spell heart.
It is.
If your name is Brian. Hello, boys. Long-time fan, first-time interaction. With a number of remakes and remasters coming out this year, or recently, Spyro, Crash, Resident Evil, Final Fantasy 7, and 13. No, 8.
Okay.
8 Roman numerals is difficult.
Yes.
There seems to be some mixing between the terms remake and remaster. My question is a 2-parter. Number 1, what truly defines a remake versus a remaster? And number 2, what characteristics make a game prime material for a remake or remaster? I'm as guilty as everyone or anyone for sometimes saying remaster when I mean remake. I never really get it the other way around by accident.
Right.
But I sometimes use the term remaster as a catch-all for any kind of we've brought this back in some form.
I see. I'm a real stickler, meeseeks, for the remaster versus remake thing.
Yeah.
And I know you know what it is,
Yeah.
but you just sometimes choose different words to describe them. But for people who are confused, if that is the case with some people,
Yeah.
it's in the literal meaning of the words.
Exactly.
If it's a remake, they've remade it.
From the ground up, pretty much.
They've rebuilt the game.
Yeah.
So that's your Crash Insane trilogies, your Spyro Reignited trilogy, your
Final
Resi
Fantasy.
2, your Final Fantasy 7, your Shadow of the Colossus that we got last year. If we're talking a remaster, they've remastered the original game, which is, I mean, in its current state, it's a port, basically.
Yeah, they kind of keep most of the original source code, and they just pretty much just mess around with kind of textures and models and sounds.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got your BioShock collection. You've got your Return to Arkham Batman collection.
Uncharted and Last of Us.
Uncharted and The Last of Us. You've got, Resident Evil 6 got a port to PS4 and stuff. They're technically remasters because they've given them a little lick of paint. I will say, though, they've sort of been a bit synonymous, especially the BioShock collection and Return to Arkham collection. I've heard that they don't necessarily perform very well because they're remasters in the sense that they have, quote-unquote, upgraded them to PS4 and Xbox One and so on from the last generation of consoles.
Right.
But it's more of a like, right, can we sell people these games again? And so sometimes they get given to not very good studios who don't do a very good job at, quote-unquote, remastering them, when really what they're doing is just porting them.
Right.
So I would say a good remaster would be the Uncharted collection. Although I encountered some weird glitches when I was playing.
Oh yeah, it's not seamless. It's not flawless.
Yeah, but it's gone between two different consoles that are very different to each other.
The Last of Us
PS4.
remastered, I thought, was pretty glitch free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So that's what the difference is. If you're looking for the difference, Peter, what makes a game deserving of a remake or a remaster, which again, are very different things. Games that you just want to see in their original form, basically, and games that you want to see remade and rebuilt on current gen consoles.
Well, I would say the difference between making something a good candidate for remake versus remaster, I think for a remake, it has to have some age to it. I think if it's not more than 4 or 5 years old, you may as well just remaster it. It's going to probably play in a kind of contemporary way. People are going to enjoy it for what it is. You just might want to make it 4K now because maybe it was only HD when it came out, something like that. But what makes a game a candidate for a remake, other than being old and needing to be sort of rebuilt from the ground up so that it, number one, works properly, and number two, appeals to modern day gamers, in the case of maybe Final Fantasy VII, for example, would probably be the most important thing is for it to have either a big nostalgic factor, or at least to have been very successful on its initial run. I think there are all kinds of games that me and you and anyone else have their own personal ideas of, I'd really like if they remade that obscure game that I really liked when I was 9 years old. But they're just not going to do it, and rightly so, because it's not going to perform as well. They pretty much the way they market these things is to play heavily on that whole nostalgic factor, to the point that they quite often like to drop in extra Easter eggs that are just nods for the original fans.
Yeah.
Like in the Reignited trilogy and in Insane trilogy, there's all kinds of little extra things that were added in that only real Crash fans will get this.
Yeah.
And Medieval as well. Like I think enough time has passed now to say what the reward for completing the game is. Mute your video or audio if you don't want to hear it for the next 10 seconds. You unlock the actual game, the PS1 build of the game,
right?
Kind of just emulated on your PlayStation.
That's nice.
Yeah, but the whole idea is to play into that little child inside your head.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the main things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's also worth saying that remakes, they should be games of significance to the industry as well. This heavily rumored Demon's Souls remake. That was critically successful. But it's still technically a niche title because not many people played it on PS3.
That's true. Yeah.
And then it never went anywhere else, and now the servers are off. So even though it's technically part of a massive franchise, not many people have played it. And that is definitely deserving of a remake to allow other, newer people to get on board and give that a go. I would say, I mean, you've spoken about remakes there, and I completely agree. Talking about remasters, especially going back to what I said a minute ago about sometimes it seems like they just want to see if they can sell it to you again. Will they? But can we get them to buy it again? Do you reckon they'll do it?
They might.
Only came out 5 years ago. You reckon they'll buy it? I think they might buy it again.
Should we just chuck some concept art on the main menu and say it's a new game?
Yeah. Darksiders War Mastered Edition.
Yeah.
Why? Who's that for? Who the hell is that for? Because Darksiders has a following.
Nobody.
But it's not a great game.
No, it's not.
None of them are, really. I know people really like Darksiders too. I just don't understand the Darksiders series at all. They just weren't very good games. They were fine.
They're nice ideas, but just poorly delivered, I think.
So I would be extremely curious to find out how many units Darksiders War Mastered Edition sold, because I don't know who on earth thought who on earth thought that needed to come out on current gen consoles. But remasters, when it comes to remasters, it's basically the Wild West. It
is a bit.
It doesn't. There seems to be no rhyme or reason, really. There are some games that absolutely should be over there. Like there's a lot of PS3 exclusives that I'm amazed we haven't seen brought over to PS4, like Resistance and Infamous. Like I can't believe we haven't seen those. A Little Big Planet 2 and 1 remaster on PS4. Crazy. Those are the best ones. Where
Halo
are they?
Master Chief Collection only just got announced for kind of current gen and Steam.
Exactly.
And that should have happened a long time ago.
Nintendo are very good with remastering and remaking their classic games because they know that I think it's fair to say a lot of their audience are there for nostalgia reasons. They grew up with these characters and they've been playing these characters every year for 20 years or more now. So even the Pokemon games, that you go, what is it? There's usually every sort of 10 years or so, the Pokemon games that came out 10 years ago get some sort of current gen remake in the latest Pokemon engine. And then, you go even further than that. You now got the Pokemon Let's Go versions of Eevee and Pikachu, which were the original games. They're very good at doing that stuff and capitalizing on nostalgia, but also iterating on the games as well. But yeah, as for remasters, I do hope we get a Mass Effect remaster trilogy.
Yeah, I would play that.
Because that's an important series that does, similar to remakes, that's an important series that does deserve a remaster and not bloody Darksiders.
I would, because I feel like I missed the boat on that because I didn't have a PS3 at the time, and I would definitely play a Mass Effect trilogy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hope that clears that up for you, Brian. Thank you for interacting and supporting us on Patreon. Very much appreciated. Peter?
Yeah?
It's time for a groundbreaking segment that no one's ever done before. What is it?
It's called What We're Playing.
Peter, what cha playin'? What cha playin'?
What me playing?
What plane? As in the flight vehicle.
What plane?
What cha plane?
I've not done any plane. But what I have done is continue to fly around a little bit in X-Wings and TIE Fighters.
Oh.
In Star Wars Battlefront campaign mode. Just finished that yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
I've played it. I realized it's like the third or fourth time I played through that now, just almost kind of coincidentally. It's not that good. Obviously played it through once when it came out. I played it through on stream just because I thought people might be interested. And then I'm playing it through now because of the new film's coming out and I want to be up to date on my canon. So it's almost just a series of coincidences that have made me play it that many times.
Lemony Snicket wrote a book about that.
She did, a series of unfortunate coincidences.
Yeah.
It's still, to be fair, there is currently an update waiting for me to download that I haven't done because I didn't want it to break the game like it did last time. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure I would have heard by now if the current update broke the game. But until I do this update, I can't say for sure whether they fix the fact that everyone who goes behind cover is just sort of going,
Well, describe that. Describe that for the audio audiences.
I'm sort of ducking down,
Sort of a
and
weird
sticking my head up,
repeated animation where you're lifting your gun arms up in front of your face.
and my head up and down. Yeah, and there's a sort of a bit of lateral movement to it as well. Actually, the way they do it, they sort of stick out from their corner.
It's quite mesmerizing, actually.
It's really I don't know why they all do it. And then I've
Are the gonk droids off the floor yet?
No, yeah, the gonk droids are fine.
Okay.
That seemed to just be a one session thing that's fixed itself.
A little Peter Austin issue.
Yeah, because as I say, I've not downloaded the most recent update, so I don't see how that has magically fixed itself, but it has, apparently.
Okay.
It's a bizarre thing, and I was really worried, actually, that this weird AI issue might get me stuck somewhere in the game where I might be relying on one of my allies to like go and press a button or something, because there are a couple of bits in that game where you have to defend someone while they're typing into a keypad or whatever, like I've nearly got it, and there's just a bar on the top, just a few more seconds, you know, that old shtick.
Yes.
Fortunately, it didn't seem to affect my own sort of allied friends, so we got away with it. But yeah, you know, it's still like an okay campaign.
Serviceable.
There's some like pretty cinematic moments. I really enjoyed actually the final level this time where you're doing the Battle of Jakku, you know, where Rey lives later in the film. And the very final mission, you land on a Star Destroyer that's blowing up to go and try and rescue your Imperial father and bring him to the good side. And on your... He says no. He says, no, I'm all right. I'm going to go down with the ship. And on your way back out, you have to run to an escape pod, and the whole thing is blowing up. You see all these stormtroopers and people running around. There's some people, like officers, sitting in chairs at keyboards, and they just get blown up. They're just sitting there, and it just explodes in their face, and they die. And it's like, oh, Jesus, all right. And that feels like you kind of walk through this like very cinematic, scripted thing, and you're kind of like, oh, wish they'd done this all the way through. This is really good. Really enjoyed this like 30-second run through.
Right.
You know,
I never finished it.
Okay.
I think I got to the bit where you do flip to the good boy outside, and then you're going through that Imperial dockyard somewhere, and there's loads. You just got loads of stuff shooting at you, and I just died a few times, and I thought, this is crap. I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah, it's very. They do just throw loads and loads of enemies at you, and like there's not much more to it than that.
At that point, it didn't feel. I could sort of see through the veneer of it being a campaign, and I was like, this is just multiplayer stuff, but they put voiceover on it.
It is like every objective you do is reach, so you reach that
interact,
defend, destroy. Yeah, it is literally that.
I don't like that. That's not what I'm about. I don't want that. So how far through your canon preparation are you currently?
Now all I need to do, in fact, to tell a lie, I've not finished the game because I left the epilogue. I'm going to watch that immediately before I watch The Force Awakens, probably tonight if I get home in time, because that is... So the main campaign sort of ends at the Battle of Jakku, and then it says decades later, and then there's one extra level where you play as Kylo Ren.
See, that's cool. I like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and what you do is, you know in the film where he sticks his hand on Poe Dameron's head and that bit, and then he does the same thing to Rey later on as well when she's in the thing with Daniel Craig where she's tied up.
Yes, Daniel Craig, the Stormtrooper.
Yeah, and the idea is he's sort of probing through their mind, trying to like find information. You play that level inside the mind of another character, and so you're walking around and like there's all these like weird bits of scenery that are like stitched together from different memories that he's been at, and you go to Scarif, and there's a load of like stormtroopers running around, and then suddenly you like walk through a door and you're on like the Death Star. So you know it's this sort of weird trippy thing. So that's really fun.
What was the thing that happened on Scarif that we kept quoting to each other?
The original plans for this station are kept on Scarif. Are they not?
Are they not?
Are they not?
Are they not?
You may have hard when ready.
This is my favourite Rogue One bit.
Yeah.
The original stations, there's original plans for these battle stations are kept on Scarif. Are they not? Are they not?
Are they not? So that leads right up to The Force Awakens, basically, because what he's doing is probing this guy's mind for where is the half of the map for Skywalker, which turns out to be the bit that Poe Dameron and BB-8 have in the first scene of that. So
with the little lighter that comes out as a thumbs up.
Yeah, that bit. Yeah,
that bit. That's
so you literally play through that level as Kylo Ren. He jumps on his ship and flies away, and then you sit down and stick your Force Awakens Blu-ray on.
Yeah,
and Kylo Ren turns
or VHS.
up. Or VHS.
Come on, let's not be elitist here.
And then Kylo turns up and is like, "Where's the map that I've just got out of the brain of the guy from the game that was made after this film came out?" And so I've not referenced it.
Yeah, hole in the bottom of the sea.
So that's that.
Wow, you're nearly there, man.
I am
Nearly there.
What have you been playing?
Played through a little bit more, just a little bit of Borderlands 3. Just
my
sort
life.
of just chugging through the New Game Plus, getting ready for this 19th of December, first DLC.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. Death Stranding.
Oh, yes.
I have finished it. So nobody can tell me that my opinion doesn't matter, which appears to be a sort of go-to automatic shield response for people who really, really like this game when you criticize it. Is
Well,
that
good
you
on
need
you.
to play a bit more, you need to finish it. I've finished it.
I'm glad that you've done that because now I can say,
Do you want to ask me a question?
my friend
My-
played it
my
through
friend
and says
played it
it's
through.
weird.
Do you want to? I feel like I've said everything I got. My opinion has not changed on this game at all, even now that I've finished it. So, is there anything you want to ask me about Death Stranding?
So from what you were telling us last week, where you said it was getting not necessarily good, but more interesting.
Right.
Did it get any better than that since you last spoke about this?
It depends how you define better.
Yes.
It was better in that I was no longer making deliveries.
Okay.
Which is just, I still can't believe that was such a, the whole game was about that. And then the last chapters, it's literally just go to this place for a cutscene, do a very, very video gamey boss fight.
Right.
And it's like, where's all this stuff been? This could have been peppered throughout a 20-hour experience, and it still would have been weird and subversive, and not many people may have liked it, but it would have had more respect for my time, and it would have been better paced. Mm-hmm. There's a real pacing issue in this game, and it just gets weirder and weirder as it goes. And there was a bit where I was just swearing at the TV, like, "Oh, flip off."
Yeah.
Oh, come on, really? There's some appalling dialogue in it. Absolutely appalling. Human beings have weird... Kojima just... He can't write people.
No.
He doesn't seem to understand how people interact. And this is something that I was really struggling to get my head around. And I think what I've settled on is that he has a very particular style to his games. And they are only ever going to appeal to certain people, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay. It was okay.
It's okay.
But I feel like it worked better in the PS2, even PS3 era of Metal Gear games when it wasn't photorealistic.
Right.
You've got real actors who are doing, I must say, a brilliant job.
With what they've been given.
It's so well acted, and the facial capture is out of this world. Like, it's so good. But the stuff that they're saying and the reactions that they're having to things are just so wildly ridiculous most of the time. It's like this guy just broke down in tears in front of me, and Norman Reedus has just stood there, just looking at him going, "Oh, you get up off the floor." And it's like, it just feels, you feel so disconnected from the experience, like in every conceivable way. There's been so much talk of Kojima making a movie and stuff, and honestly, I don't know what that movie's going to look like because the dialogue in it is going to be so crap and it's not going to make any sense. The characters have weird motivations. I could not relate to a single person in this game. Not a single one. And even Norman Reedus's, Sam Bridges, even his own character arc was difficult to follow. He spends so much of that game saying no to people. And then, like that, with no revelatory moment that's made clear at all, he's like, "Yeah, we're all in this together." And it's like, where the hell's this come from?
Yeah.
Why is he suddenly on board? This doesn't make any sense. Like, this has just come out of nowhere. It's not well written. It just isn't.
A Kojima movie, I can't see... I mean, it might happen, it might be created, but I can't see it doing well because at least in his favor with this, he's got the fact that when a big name PS4 game comes out, a lot of PS4 players are going to give it a go. That's kind of just how the console, like the gaming industry works. You know, if you're one of the blockbuster games, a lot of people are going to try it. If Hideo Kojima brought out a weird movie and a trailer went out for it, he's not just having to appeal to a bunch of PS4 gamers who've probably played Metal Gear games in the past and enjoyed them. He's going to try. He's competing with other movies which have a much wider appeal. And a lot of people who aren't gamers would have no idea who he is. They just see that this weird film has come out and there's a trailer for it where, you know, a guy is pissing mushrooms or whatever, or, you know, something new and weird. And I just can't see it doing well because, you know, your dad isn't going to want to watch it. No. My mum isn't going to want to watch it.
I'm not going to want to watch it.
No, my sister and brother aren't going to want to watch it.
Just like this game, the only reason people would go and watch it is to experience it for themselves. And that's the key thing about Death Stranding, is that this is undeniably a really, really important game. Because I've never seen a game split opinions like this.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever. And whether you like it or you don't like it or you just don't care, everybody has some kind of opinion on it.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I don't understand how people who love this game can objectively listen to some of the stuff that the characters are saying and go, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it's not. You can still like it, but you've got to be able to look at it and think, that was cheesy as hell. This is really weird.
Yeah.
Why is this happening now?
And
I
why
don't
is there
understand.
a close-up on 6 cans of Monster? Like, I don't see how people can look past that either.
That is awful.
I keep bringing that up on, you know, like I've mentioned it on social media and in our videos and stuff. But I think that's just so
egregious, right?
It is egregious,
too much.
gratuitous. I just think if anyone else did that, if that happened anywhere else, it would be like, what on earth is this? Just obnoxious brand deal. But apparently it's fine.
Apparently it's fine, because it's just Kojima. Final nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah.
Last mission.
And then we'll probably never talk about this game again.
Like an epilogue mission, right?
Yeah.
It asks you to go to a place that you go to, like at the very start of the game. So for me, that was like 34 hours ago.
Yeah.
Which in real world time is nearly a month ago. And it disables your map. It doesn't let you look at it. It thinks Kojima is so sure that you know where this place is that he rolls out one of those. The soundtrack's really good, I will say. The songs that have been chosen, like, because again, this is another thing with this game. It's like I just don't. It's so competent in some areas and so wrong in others that it's so weird. He rolls out one of his like great. I think it's an original song actually,
right,
for the game, and it starts playing, and you sort of just trudge out into the wilderness, like, where the bloody hell am I meant to go? My map's not working. There was briefly a marker on my screen, and then it went. I saw somewhere in the distance shooting a beam of light into the air, and I thought, logically, video game logic, I'll head over that way. It took me about 45 minutes to finish a mission that should have taken me 5.
Was that music just looping?
No. Eventually it stopped, and there I was, still falling off cliffs, trying to work out where to go. Now, I had to Google where to go in the end. And even the GameSpot article I looked at said, have no idea where, but how are you supposed to remember where such and such is after 50 hours of gameplay? Worry not, we've got you covered. And it's like, this article shouldn't have to exist.
No.
It shouldn't have to exist. Fortunately, one of the comments did, because the article wasn't very helpful. It gave me screenshots, and I'd already gone way beyond where it was meant to be before I found it. If you hold L1, you go into this like first-person look-around mode, and it let me see where I was meant to go, like through the mountain that I'd gone round.
Right.
So then I had to trudge. I spent, of course, 20 minutes trying to Skyrim my way directly over the mountain, but as I got really far up, and then there was just an invisible wall that wouldn't let me over the top, so I had to go down and walk all the way around. And when I finished it, even though it was like a story mission, it's meant to be like your last delivery or some crap like that. It comes up on the screen with the usual assessment, and it shows your route, and it's like there's A to B, and my little footprints just go like all the way off to the other side of the map and back again, like it just going in circles. So it's just like
And it's meant to be this big moment.
It's meant to be this big emotional final moment, and I know that ultimately it was my bad. But the fact that he turned off the map and thought they know where they're
Ben
going.
will know.
So, no, I don't.
Ben loves this game.
I don't know where I'm going.
He used to go there all the time.
What does disabling the map give you?
Yeah.
What purpose does that?
So was the rest of the HUD still on?
Yeah, so
right.
You weren't allowed to like fabricate or carry any equipment apart from the thing you were delivering. But like that was like it was just that moment. I was like, for God's sake.
Because that's the one thing I could understand why the map might be disabled if everything else was disabled, and maybe it would even go into letterbox widescreen, and it's just you with no HUD walking with this music to A to B. That would have a bit more to it. Suddenly it goes very cinematic for your final walk, but all the HUD is still there. You just can't go in your map.
You just can't go in your map. And you know what the sad thing is? When that music was playing, and I was like, I think it actually did a thing where it zoomed out more than usual to show more of the landscape with you just like the lone courier in the middle, and it had this original song with this like these haunting female vocals and orchestral swell behind it, and I was trudging across rivers, and I was like, one last. It's this son of a bee. He's actually got me feeling something.
Yeah.
Look at this. And then the music stopped. And I was like, okay, where the hell am I meant to be going? I don't know where I am. Oh, great. Let me spend a further 40 minutes trying to work out where to go. So, yes, that's it. I finished Death Stranding. I think it's a beautiful disaster, honestly. Mm-hmm. I think it has redeeming factors. I think Kojima fans who haven't played it should play it. I can certainly see why people might like it, but I can't see why those people might like it wouldn't be able to take a step back and look at it objectively. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who can, who enjoyed it and are glad that they played it, but can appreciate that there are weird things. But certainly you and I have met some fierce resistance online from people who just cannot accept that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Which you should be able to say about any game. No game is a masterpiece.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah, I've met people in the other camp who have very openly said in replies to sort of tweets that I made and stuff, oh yeah, I can see that like it's very strange and subversive. I really enjoyed it, but I get why people don't. Yeah, I appreciate that attitude. But yeah, I think there are some objectively bad things and also some subjectively bad things that lots of people dislike. Not sort
everyone.
Of. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
I'm done talking about Death Stranding now. I think it's bollocks, and I'm glad that I finished it because I did it. I actually did it.
Yeah.
And I will say that it won't be in my top 5 games of the year.
Okay.
But
it'll be some people's number one.
I reckon it will probably win the listener game of the year just to spite us.
Oh God, no! I think enough of our audience have agreed with us in various comments and things. But
it's done. If you like Death Stranding, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's certainly a very important game, but I just don't understand it. I finished it and I don't get it, and I don't think it's very good. So that's that.
Oh boy, we've got a question here.
Yes,
from Stephen Scodes. Do you want to read it?
Oh yeah. I've just spent ages talking, but here we go. This is more at you anyway. You're a big whatever he's about to ask about fan.
Yeah.
Hello, Ben and Peter. Recently, 2K announced that its new development studio, Cloud Chamber, is working on the next BioShock game. What are your thoughts on this? What did you guys think of the BioShock series altogether? Personally, I loved BioShock 1 and 2, but didn't really enjoy Infinite that much. I want to give you guys a massive thanks for all the wonderful and amazing work you both did this year, and for being awesome people. Wishing you both a wonderful Christmas and New Year's. Can't wait to see what you guys do in 2020. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you very much.
I feel exactly the same way about BioShock as Stephen does. BioShock 1 and 2 I really enjoy. I know that 1 is most people think it's better than 2. I'm probably inclined to agree. Number 3, BioShock Infinite. I didn't really get it. I thought it was like a very pretty game, but I don't know. It felt like it just felt very strange to suddenly be up in the sky and not under the water. And I like Big Daddies, and they're not there. And then I've not really got too far into the game yet, but I've seen online a few spoilers about how it ends, and what the hell, that's really weird. That's too much for me. So again, it's one of those games. I think objectively it does a lot of things right, and it played well and it was a pretty game, but just a bit wild for me story-wise. But in any case, I'm looking forward to more BioShock and seeing where that goes. I actually saw a headline while I was grabbing my weird news. I didn't have time to click it and read it, but the headline read that they've been working on this for years, apparently, this game.
But the Cloud Chambers is literally not even ready to start developing yet, so I don't know how that's possible.
I think in sort of pre-development terms, I think they've been,
Right.
as I say, I didn't click the article, but it just said like this next BioShock has been in the works for
it's been
years,
rumored,
plural.
A new BioShock has been rumored for a while, but the press release that I got about it is that Cloud Chamber is literally just founding itself now. Like,
Yeah.
it's a brand new studio and they're hiring people to staff it. So if it's been in production for a long time, then somebody else has been working on it.
Well,
and
that's
it's
what I
coming
think.
to Cloud Chamber.
Yeah, I think that might be. I mean, as I say, I didn't read the article. I'm
Right.
just
That's interesting.
Just
so there's probably some kind of idea that's already there.
yeah, and maybe there were even little bits of kind of early development done by someone else that have maybe been passed over. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. What do you think of BioShock? You a fan?
I like BioShock. I've got a BioShock tattoo.
Yeah.
I really liked BioShock 1, obviously. I didn't play 2 because of the weird... Not because I didn't want to, but just because I couldn't really be bothered. And also, there was a bit of a stigma against a non-Ken Levine, who's the Mr. BioShock. He wasn't involved at all. But, you know, as you and many others say, BioShock 2 is very good.
Yeah.
I was one of those people who really liked BioShock Infinite. I can appreciate why people didn't, because it was kind of just a shooter, really.
Yeah.
But I loved the setting and I loved the characters, and I was bewildered by the ending, of course. But the DLCs were really good, and they tied it to the original BioShock, like the different universes and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I never played those, but
yeah, they were really good. So I really like BioShock. As I said, excuse me. I didn't play BioShock 2 because of the lack of Ken Levine. And we should also say, obviously, BioShock Infinite suffered massive cuts.
Yeah, it did.
During its development. Like, the version we got was so different from the... Like, it was in development for ages, and there was stuff that was in early trailers that just didn't exist in the final version.
Yeah.
I think Crowbat, or whatever the YouTube channel is, Crowbat, what's he called? Who does, like, the mashup videos for games and stuff. He does like the E3 cringe compilations and stuff.
Right.
He did one all about BioShock Infinite that's super interesting, chronicling all the pre-production stuff that we just never saw in the final game.
There's some really interesting videos about it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it's the BioShock Infinite that Ken Levine wanted to make clearly just was not possible. And then as soon as BioShock Infinite launched, he left Irrational. Was it Irrational?
Yeah.
He left that studio and founded his own one and started making indie games, I think. So he was clearly burned out and didn't quite get to make what he wanted to make. But hopefully this new one, you know, if BioShock 2 turned out really well without him being involved, that's fine. It's like me wanting a Dark Souls 4 that probably won't have Miyazaki involved.
Yeah.
I just kind of want more Dark Souls, and I imagine people are ready for more BioShock, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think sometimes if something has enough of a grounding in its own kind of world building, and you can't go too far wrong with gameplay with BioShock either. It's, as you say, it's a shooter. Then you've got the plasmid mechanics, which you know, lots of games have done similar things.
I think you mean Vigors.
Well, do I, or do I mean? I'm pretty sure plasmid is also a thing.
No, it is.
Or am I thinking-
I think Vigor is what it's called. Is it
Oh,
Vigors
yeah.
in Infinite, I think?
Yeah, because you neck the bottle of
You
stuff.
drink 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. So gameplay-wise, I think they can't go too far wrong. It's not a super complex thing. So I'd like to think that any developer will be able to nail that aspect, and then it's just a question of can they do an interesting story that kind of fits with the world and you know, it stands up
Dishonored's
to
been ripping them off for
yeah.
years now.
No,
so-
yeah, that's true. It is actually the case. You know, it's a bit like you know, the rumored. In fact, by the time this podcast goes out, there might have been an announcement for a new Crash game coming out that will be presumably be made by Vicarious Visions. It's the same kind of deal. It's like, well, you know, you've got the building blocks there. Hopefully, you can do the right thing and put them together in the right way. You know, could go wrong,
definitely.
but I'd like to think that there's enough there for them to study hard on, so that they can recreate it.
Study what, sorry?
I see. Sorry,
Blimey.
better bleep that one.
Would you go back under the sea? Do you think?
Oh yeah, I'd like to, but then maybe we've had 2 games under the sea. What else do? if you go back there. Maybe they won't do that.
Maybe there's another utopia under the sea.
Yeah.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Maybe.
Oh my God, maybe it'll be set in Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom.
Possibly. I mean, maybe there'll be a third city in a different, seemingly uninhabitable place.
Desert?
A cave?
Yeah, cave system maybe. An underground cave system might be an interest, like a Fallout style vault with its own weird rules and stuff. That could be quite interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, won't we? Be interesting. It's a long way away though.
Yeah.
If the studio's just getting itself built now.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before we see it. But yeah, interesting. Good news, not bad news.
No.
So that's nice.
Talking of news.
Yeah.
We've had good news, not bad news. It's time for some weird news.
Weird news. Weird news time, Peter. Weird me up.
It's from Kotaku.
Yeah.
Let me just accept their privacy policy.
Okay, that's fine.
Luke Plunkett. We like Luke Plunkett.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's written stuff before that we've read out.
Plunkett.
Yeah. Luke Plunkett on Kotaku says, Amazon customers buy Nintendo Switch, get sent condoms, tambourines, and electric toothbrushes instead.
What?
There are reports that at least a dozen people who bought a Nintendo Switch as part of Amazon's Black Friday sales did not get sent a Nintendo Switch. Instead, they've received everything from air freshener to photopolymer resin instead.
What?
The Mirror has been rounding up some of the complaints, which have prompted an apology from Amazon and a promise that the company will be, quote, investigating exactly what's happened.
Oh, God, at least, even though it's definitely a technical issue, at least 10 people are getting fired for that.
Probably, yeah.
That's a shame.
There's a tweet, embedded into the article here from Jake Lawrence, who says, what the hell, at Amazon Help, at Amazon UK. I ordered a Switch and I've been sent a microphone and a tambourine. Amazon Help have replied and said, oh no, that's definitely not how we'd like your order to arrive. When you have a moment, please visit us here, blah, 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 and we'll get started.
Oh my God.
The issue doesn't appear to have been a simple error in orders, like a SKU mix-up. Do you know what an SKU is?
A SKU, like a unit.
SKU.
I think it's... In retail, I believe that describes a unit of something.
Right, I see. The issue doesn't appear to be a simple error in orders, like a SKU mix-up, where everyone who ordered a Switch got a PS4 instead, since those affected are receiving completely random items all over the country. Some of the other mistaken products sent out include a Remington facial trimmer, bed sheets, Lego, dog food, and dishwashing powder.
Great.
Amazon's apology reads, we're really sorry about that and are investigating exactly what's happened. We're reaching out to every customer who's had a problem and made us aware so we can put it right. Wow.
I will say one thing about Amazon. I know we're not meant to like them because they don't pay taxes and that's
they're a big
awful.
corporation.
And they're a huge corporation and the owner just gets richer and richer and richer and richer and doesn't pay any taxes at all.
Bookshops are dying. Independent bookshops.
Bookshops are dying and the very, very unfortunate people who are working in the warehouses have to work in awful conditions.
Yes.
Even in the UK and the United States.
But
their customer service is fantastic.
It is actually really good.
If they mess something up or if you're not happy with something, you get on that live chat, they fix it. Because they're worth so much money, they can afford to just fix it. They're not funny about it. But that's a very small positive. I mean, everyone uses Amazon. It's so hard not to use Amazon.
Yeah, it's difficult.
But that is funny.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's really funny. I like that one. Okay, you ready, Peter?
I am ready.
I don't know that you will be.
Oh.
We're going to talk about Pornhub.
Okay.
This is from Kotaku as well. We know that one. This is from Alistair Jones. Overwatch is once again Pornhub's most popular video game. Hooray!
What?
You know Pornhub releases their end of year statistics.
Oh yeah.
So they've released a load of video game statistics.
Really?
Are you ready?
I was going to say, because what does it mean once again the most popular? I want to know what the fifth most popular video game.
I think we actually know that.
Oh wow,
well.
okay.
Yeah, this article is outstanding. Overwatch has reclaimed the dubious title of Pornhub's most searched for video game. In the adult website's latest yearly insights, searches for the hero shooter rose 8%, while last year's chart topper, Fortnite, was down 17%. You know what? There's probably some interesting data to be gleaned from this by publishers in terms of how much their games are in sort of
the kind of consciousness.
The public consciousness, yeah, even though it's in a not very great way.
There's so much available on Pornhub. Why? Sorry, this is
sometimes you
not
just
kink shaming, but
sometimes you get into like you just want to see a very specific thing. You think, oh, that'd be fun. I wonder if that exists. Oh, it does. Oh, there's lots of it.
I wonder if the spy from TF2 has ever had intercourse with Pikachu. Let's find out.
Are you ready for the first 3 words of the next paragraph?
No, probably.
Pokemon and Minecraft both made 3rd and 4th place respectively, while new entry Apex Legends came in 5th. Peaking at 357,000 daily searches shortly after its launch in February.
I mean, at least Pokemon has human characters. I'm hoping it's the human characters.
I don't think it is, Peter.
Okay, but Minecraft has people made of squares.
Yes.
How do they do it?
Sexy. Further down the list, new games in established series saw searches for Resident Evil up 203%, Mortal Kombat up 102%, and Borderlands up a huge 554%.
Ben?
I'm not saying I didn't search, but I didn't search to increase it over 500%.
I searched for Resident Evil, but only Mr. X.
Yeah, oh my God. Can you imagine that guy in a thong? Oh. You don't have to.
No,
you just have to search
probably.
for it. Yeah. When it comes to individual characters, last year's winner, Bowsette, has tumbled 174% to 5th place, while 2nd place, Bridget, fell more than 200%, barely making the top 10. The rest of the top 5 features Lara Croft and DVA.
Lara's still relevant?
Diva. I don't know what that is. I don't know who that is. While searches for Super Mario nearly doubled, securing it 4th place.
Super Mario?
Returning franchises again saw spikes in popularity with representatives from a number of fighting games, Resident Evil 2, Kingdom's Hearts, and most depressingly, Pokemon rising significantly. It concludes with, if you want to check out the stats for yourself, you can do so here. That link is technically safe for work, but maybe you should double check how much you need to look at pornography data before you open it at your desk.
We've got a real issue here.
Go on.
What are we going to title/thumbnail the video?
Well, yours, definitely.
I mean, we'll have to maybe just leave out the condoms on mine.
Yeah, this is the real struggle here, is that if porn is anywhere in the description or the title of our video, it's getting demonetized.
Yeah.
And if you mention condoms, even though everyone should be talking about condoms because contraception is extremely important.
It is. Use one.
It probably will also get demonetized because condoms, I don't know, are going to asphyxiate children or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, they asphyxiate unconceived children, Ben.
Yes.
Down with
Down with contraception. STIs.
Overpopulate the planet. Overpopulate the planet. We're dying. We're on a dying rock.
There's something to be said for someone ordering a games console traditionally associated with children and getting condoms instead.
Yeah.
I think there's some sort of connection that can be made there, perhaps. Anyway, that was my weird news. I think we both really did some great weird news today.
That was a good weird one.
I think it was a great week for weird news for both
I was
of us.
spoiled for choice. I've already forgotten what it was. I'll just read the headline, whatever it was.
While you're looking that up, honorable mention to Fallout 76, which I nearly picked, because they've released a new patch which has introduced a new bug.
Oh, great.
Do you want to know what it does?
Yeah.
Every time you fire and reload your weapon, your armor degradation takes a significant hit.
Oh my God.
People were reloading their weapon and their armor was just going...
How does that happen?
I don't know.
I'm no developer, but I don't understand how that happens.
I don't understand how it's still happening.
This is good, actually, because the headline is better than the art. The write-up was like one paragraph. The Vatican's Minecraft server is getting DDoS attacks.
I don't need to know anymore.
No.
That's great.
Yeah.
What a week. God, it's really
One of the weirdest
here.
weeks ever.
Okay, let's move on to the next question from Kalen Roger Peter.
Okay.
His name isn't Kalen Roger -Peter.
No, that would be 3 first names.
Kalen Roger, Peter.
I love worst games ever, and I got to thinking about games that I've played that were trash. Dino Crisis 3 came to mind, but I actually really enjoyed that game except for the camera angles. I wanted to ask if there were any games that were objectively not good that you genuinely enjoyed, and not in an ironic, so bad it's good kind of way. Ben?
I've got Beyond Two Souls written down.
Okay.
Definitely David Quage's weakest game, but one that I still really enjoyed because it was a David Cage game.
Right.
One that I can take a step back from and appreciate it's not very good, Hideo, but I still enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
And I still liked it. It's rocking a 72% on Metacritic, which I don't believe it's no longer a PlayStation exclusive, but at the time, for a big marquee PlayStation exclusive game starring actual Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page, that's not great. And it had some controversial stuff in it, in that Ellen Page has I think she has a no nudity thing in most of her contracts.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And they modeled her nude for a shower scene, and and then hackers managed to move the camera around. So even though it's not her body,
she's still sort
her
of there.
face is on it, and that was a really bad thing. And I think she's sworn off ever working in video games again since that.
It's weird that any develop if the whole point of the way that a scene like that is presented in a video game, a developer has the option to not even include any nudity on the model.
Yeah, it could literally just be a taut from the shoulders up, and then just pan across that. It doesn't even need to be there.
At least in a movie, obviously you still have to get the actress to take their clothes off, even if you are going to tastefully cover it with plants and stuff. And if there was some sort of cheeky stagehand off the edge of set with a tiny little camera, then that's how something like that would get out. But in a video game, there's no reason for the nudity to even exist if
also,
you're covering it up.
Not cheeky.
Yeah.
Perverted.
Yeah. Oh no, that was a
some heroic stagehand with his little camera.
No, it was a sarcastic remark.
I'm just pulling your leg.
I know you are.
I'm just pulling your leg. Don't worry. So yeah, that was I like that, and we'll probably end up playing it on stream, because why not complete the David Cage weirdness trifecta, right? But yeah, that was one that was not reviewed very well, and one that I really enjoyed. I got the platinum in it. I saw all the different things. It's a bit spooky and weird in places. Just the whole thing is really weird. But I really liked it, and it's not it's 72%. It's competently made.
Yeah.
It's just not very good. So it's not really a worse game, but I tend not to put myself through those by choice. But that's probably the most sort of kind of rubbish one that I've played.
Yeah, I feel like there are more of these than I can think of, and by that I mean I can only think of 1.5. But I'm sure there are loads out there, so I don't know. But one that definitely springs to mind is Hogs of War on the PS1. Now that game is objectively a bit naff.
It's really hard to play.
It's hard to play. It's tank controls. It looks pretty bad even for the time. The PC version looks a bit better, but even then it's okay. What saves it really is the voice acting. That's what everyone's pretty much agrees on. It's Rick Mayall, Rip, F in the chat, plus another guy who never gets any credit because Rick Mayall steals the show, a guy called Mark Silk, who... Great name, who voices all kinds of famous animated characters and stuff. Mark Silk will definitely be the voice of a character that you like. He's just one of those people.
Right.
But yeah, I still really enjoy that game, mostly for a nostalgic factor. I quite like the sense of humor in it, even though it's very deliberately immature and kind of self-aware of, they do a lot of toilet humor and stuff. There's just farting, and they talk about doing poos.
That's
and
funny
things.
though.
It is funny.
That's funny stuff.
It's just the way it's done though. But objectively, not actually a very good game. And I'd be interested. I didn't think to look up how it reviewed at the time. I'm sure nowadays most sort of retrospective reviewers probably rate it reasonably high if they account for the fact that there's a big nostalgic factor and Rick Mayall does a good job. But at the time when it came out, it might have been that a lot of reviewers said, God, this is a bit trash, isn't it? Apart from the cast.
It's trying to be Worms, isn't it?
Exactly, it was trying to be Worms. It did predate Worms 3D, so it was actually the first. It came before Worms in that respect for 3D Worms. But the other thing is, obviously, as I've talked about already, I quite enjoy playing Battlefront 2, and I guess that's not a bad game. I think the practices, that went with it aren't very good. And Battlefront 1 as well, I enjoyed.
That team has been working really hard, very quietly in the background to keep rolling out content and stuff, and that needs to be applauded, I think.
Yeah, they do keep bringing out new heroes.
It wasn't DICE's decision to shove it full of crap.
No, yeah. So yeah, I enjoy that. Yeah. And I suppose that's all I can think of. Yeah.
I think it's okay. Like, that's the thing. It's okay to enjoy games that are critically not good. I mean, critical reception, really, if anything, us talking about games here, it's to share our own experiences with them, to sort of not prevent you from buying things or to say that you need to buy stuff. It's just because gaming is an expensive hobby. And the more informed you are, the better, because there's a good chance that you could go out and buy a game that didn't review very well and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's a risk, because if you know that a lot of people don't like it, then maybe it's best to avoid that.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing, is that there are a lot of games that don't really answer this question, but they're like not as popular as other similar games, but I really enjoy them. So, for example, my favorite Assassin's Creed is Syndicate, the Victorian one, for the setting. Likewise, I really enjoyed Far Cry Primal for the setting. Both of those, I think, aren't really up there in their respective series. And everyone knows that Beyond Good and Evil is one of my favorite games of its time, and at the time that wasn't particularly popular either. None of those games I've just said are objectively bad games, so it doesn't really answer the question. But I think there's probably a lot more of those sorts of games that I could give an answer for. But
the whole story of our podcast over the past couple of months has been, enjoy what you enjoy, but be able to look at it objectively and appreciate why some people might not like it, and don't be a dick to people who don't like it. And equally, if you don't like something, don't be a dick to the people who do like it.
Yeah.
I think we've gone out of our way to be as fair as possible to people who enjoy Death Stranding. But I'm not saying it's the worst game ever made at all. I think it's a very well-made game. I just don't think it's very good. But, to each their own.
Absolutely.
You want to like the bad games? Enjoy the bad games. There's a good chance that you enjoy some good games that some people don't like. So it's whatever, man. Go do your thing.
Do it. Like what you want to like.
Yeah, go do it. Peter.
Yeah?
It's time for things to get big.
Whoa.
And scary.
Yeah?
And discussion-y.
Just a moment.
It's time
I'm ready.
for the big discussion. Big discussion time, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
I should say that the Game Awards are 3 days ago.
Yes, they
At
are.
the time of recording, they are going out at 1:30 a.m. on Friday morning.
Yeah.
And it's Thursday morning when we're recording. So we'd love to talk about all the new things that were announced, but we simply can't.
They were good, weren't they, those Game Awards?
They were really good. So instead, what we're going to talk about is the arguably probably second biggest thing that happened this week, which was
State of Play.
State of
The
Play.
last State of Play of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Xavier Ramirez gets the honor of the big discussion asker for the second week in a row.
Yeah.
Chav Ramirez says, everything seems to happen over the weekend, and since you boys record on Thursday, you won't be able to comment on the Game Awards. So I shall ask about Sony's State of Play.
Thank you.
After the last somewhat mediocre SOPs, this one seemed to be a breath of fresh air, even though the biggest announcement was leaked, ruining all surprise. What portion of the show captivated you guys the most? Discuss.
Do you know what? I found this one fairly mediocre.
Did you?
Yeah, there wasn't that much that really excited me. Or there was nothing like, again, like as it says, one of the biggest ones was leaked already.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Dreams, but I obviously already knew that was a thing. It's just we've now got a release date.
Yeah.
We'll obviously go through and hit these point by point. But yeah, there was nothing that blew my socks off, because I either already knew that it existed or, they announced a thing that I wasn't that interested in.
There were two things that really jumped out to me.
Okay.
Which I will tell you about as we go through.
Mm-hmm.
So first up, Untitled Goose Game, as is to be expected, is coming to the PlayStation 4 on the 17th of December.
Yeah.
Not really much more that needs to be said about that.
No.
Definitely one of the best games of the year, which is a weird sentence to say, but it's a fantastic game, and you should play it, even though I said last question that we weren't going to tell you that you should play things. You should play it. You want to be a naughty goose? Of course you do.
Play it. Honk.
Go support House. They're a great little studio, and they deserve your support.
They're pro-Labour.
Yes, they are pro-Labour.
They did a very, very vocal thing saying, please vote for Labour.
If you're in the UK, vote Labour. Of course, at the time of the release of this podcast, we will still be under Tory rule because that is...
It's election day at time of recording.
The depressing world that we live in, probably. I would love to be wrong. Anyway, carry on.
PS4 is getting a magic-based battle royale called Spellbreak in spring 2020.
No, I saw this and I thought, that is a game Peter Austin is going to be all over.
Did you? You'd be wrong.
How wrong would I be?
Very, because it's a battle royale game.
Yeah, I have no interest in this. It's going to be out spring 2020, though. No word on whether it's free to play, but I think a brand new battle royale at this stage that's going to charge you for entry is not going to do very well.
No.
At all.
No.
Dreams, Peter, as you mentioned.
Yes, it's coming out on Valentine's Day 2020.
How romantic.
That's good. I'm looking forward to that. That's one of the thumbs up from me. Untitled Goose Game 2. Those two are, fine.
Interesting. Dreams looks interesting. I played it very briefly at EGX a couple of years ago, but it was just some pre-made levels, and obviously the whole point of the game is making your own stuff. It's apparently going to have its like a proper campaign and stuff, and it's going to be fully fleshed out with levels that people have made and things like that. But I don't know how well it's going to do. I hope it does well. I really like Media Molecule.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it almost feels like it's been out for a while, just because I think there've been some early access builds that people have been playing, and so
you've been able to buy early access for ages. And
so
there we go.
I hope it has enough of a punch on its actual release day, because when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's not out yet, is it? Okay, yeah, right, yeah.
PlayStation need to promote the crap out of it.
Yeah,
that's what they need to do. The Epic Game Store's Superliminal will make its way onto PS4 in 2020.
Fun.
This was one of the things that really grabbed my attention.
It's one of my highlights of the SOP. Yeah.
Yes, it looks really bizarre. It's the write-up that was on GameSpot described this as sort of Portal-like because you're a test subject and you're working through various challenges, and you've got like a weird robot talking to you and saying strange things, and it's all strange. It's all perspective based, isn't it? So like depending on where you tilt the camera, that's various things will appear. If you pick something up, it gets really big, even though it doesn't look very big, and then you drop it, and it stays the same size. Yeah, it's very bizarre.
It's to do with like I'm looking at this mug here, and if I pick it up, suddenly it's the same size in my vision, my field of vision. But it's not actually this far away from me anymore. It's that far away, which means it's suddenly got twice as big, because it's on the other side of the room. So it's basically the video game version of that Father Ted clip with the cows.
Yes, the cows.
That's what it is. It's the cows.
It's pretty much that.
The cows skit in video game form.
I've never heard of Superliminal, but that caught my eye. I like the look of that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
PSVR is getting a strange but intriguing new game called Paper Beast. I feel bad for Paper Beast because it didn't look that interesting.
No, it didn't.
It also looked like it could have been made in Dreams, which came just a couple of
That's true.
trailers before.
Yeah.
And Media Molecule have literally made a game where everything is made out of paper, and it's called Tearaway. So, I feel bad for Paper Beast. I want it to do well, obviously, but that's not. Could have been placed better, perhaps, before Dreams.
The characters, or whatever they were, the creatures just looked. I get that they're trying to be. It's like an interesting stylistic thing, but I just thought they looked a bit naff, to be honest.
There's minimal, and then there's
there's
nothing.
I let a child do the concept art.
Where's
for this
the rest
game.
of the game, guys?
Yeah.
Peter, Kingdom Hearts 3's got some DLC. You know what it's called?
Yeah.
We thought, Kingdom Hearts is frequently ridiculed for its ridiculous game titles that make it impossible to follow. And their first DLC is no different. It's called RE : semicolon? What is that? Mind, as in remind.
Remind.
But with a colon. It's just why?
It's
so needless.
It's like someone sent you an email and the subject line is mind, and you've sent
regarding
a reply
the
to
charity Mind.
Yes.
Great charity. Go and support Mind.
Yeah, do support Mind. Don't support it. Well, no, you can support this game if you want.
It's just you need to be able
not
to.
For me.
Have you read all the animes? Have you played the
Exactly.
mobile game that has all that? God, just.
That's why I didn't play Kingdom Hearts 3. I would have really liked it if there hadn't been all that stuff. I just don't want to go into that and not know. And I think we talked about this at the time, actually, on videos or whatever. But the whole idea that there were articles going out and videos going out trying to hit, you can watch this if you want to try and catch up on what's going on. And they were like 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
And there were even interviews going out by people from Square saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, no, you'll understand like who's who and who's a villain and who's a goodie because all the baddies wear black."
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Great, but what are their motivations?
Yeah.
You're right, though. I would love to play Kingdom Hearts 3 if I could just play the Disney levels, which I think probably a lot of very confused and disappointed children were bought Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's got the Disney worlds in it, but then they're like, what on earth is going on? I've got no idea. Anyway,
so many factions and things, yeah.
RE:mind is out on the 23rd of January next year if you want to play that.
Good luck with that.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
Predator Hunting Grounds, your favorite game?
Yeah, it's just looking less and less exciting as time goes on, isn't it?
It's got a release date of the 24th of April. What I liked in particular about this trailer is they did the thing that is so obvious to anyone who plays games, where the scary, menacing force is coming at the player character, and the player character is shooting wildly, not even aiming. Like, it was even from the perspective of the Marine or whatever he is at one point, and he was just aimed off to the side, firing from the hip.
Yeah.
And it was like, why would you even show that? And then it cut to the other angle of the Predator about to jump to him, and the bullets are just flying off in the wrong... It's like, it just looks crap. It looks weird.
Even when this was announced, I was, at best, very cynical and skeptical about it. I thought, okay, I mean, good luck to anyone who wants to do a Predator game. I will keep up on this for now. I'll look at the updates, and then the more that came out, the less excited I got. And then I played it at EGX, and no, I'm all right. Thanks.
Just looks a bit budget, doesn't it?
It is just budget.
Again, this will have its audience, people who love the Friday the 13th game and stuff.
These
like
asymmetric multiplayer.
People love them, and that's great. But it's not gonna bring me in for sure, unless we somehow get a copy, which we probably won't because we've talked it up so well.
Yeah, but Ben, one of the Predators has a bow and arrow.
One of the Predators is a lady Predator.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Predators can be women too.
Yeah.
I think that's.
But why they would ever use a bow and arrow when they've got an actual wrist laser, I have no idea.
Remember when games went through a period a few years ago where they all had bows and arrows in?
Yeah.
It was really weird. I don't know, like The Last of Us had one, which I suppose makes sense.
Lara Croft
had one. There was loads of it. There was like Crisis 2 had a high-tech bow.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Stop it. Next up.
Yeah.
Babylon's Fall is revealed. So this is from Platinum Games. It's been... We've heard about this, but we haven't really seen it before. Platinum Games, of course, brought us Nier, Bayonetta, and Vanquish, those sort of action titles. It's published by Square Enix, I think. And it just shows people fighting massive creatures in very, very flashy style.
Yeah.
Again, that's going to appeal to a lot of people. It's not really my kind of game.
Me neither. It's Bayonetta particularly. It's a bit sort of Bayonetta Devil May Cry for me. It's just very hack and slash and flashy and I don't know. Yeah.
It look, Platinum Games are very good, and I'm sure this will be a very, very good game, but it's not one that I'll be playing. But I like the idea if it's that it seems to all take place on this weird floating castle. So maybe you're making your way up to the top. I don't know if it's going to be sort of Dark Souls-esque in that there's not really going to be a story. It's all going to be environmental storytelling, Shadow of the Colossus style almost, where you're trying to take down Babylon or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea, but I hope it's really good. I'm sure it will be very good. And the big one, Peter.
Yeah. Boom. Resident Evil 3 Remake has officially been revealed, despite lots of rumors in the past week or so.
And the leaks from the PlayStation Store showing all of its assets and stuff before it came out.
Yeah.
This was super sneaky because we've been told about Project Resistance for a while, which is their new co-op multiplayer game. And then even the voice... Was it Julia Hardy? Because that was the lady whose name we forgot on the last episode.
Now you say it.
Was it Julia Hardy doing the voiceover?
I don't know if it was, actually.
It sounded similar to her.
Might have been.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The narrator very sneakily said, So, Capcom have been working on Project Resistance for a while. It's now time to look at the much-touted single-player component of the multiplayer co-op shooter.
Yeah.
And it's Resident Evil 3. You sneaky buggers!
Yeah.
We knew you were going to announce Resi 3 Remake, but we didn't know that it was being... That Project Resistance is just the multiplayer aspect
it's a really weird
of
way
Resi
of doing
3.
it, isn't it?
It was really... I thought it was quite clever, actually, because for a minute I was like, should I be recognizing these characters? I definitely recognize these characters.
Yeah.
Okay, right, it's Resident Evil 3.
It's like, hey, Do you wanna play a Uncharted multiplayer third-person shooter game? You can in Uncharted 2. Oh, what? So strange to do it that way around. But
Unbelievable.
maybe it was because of the leaks and things. They sort of wanted to just blow the load at the very last moment. Like, this is a trailer for our multiplayer game. No, it isn't.
Got ya.
Yeah.
It's actually a fantastic remake. I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
Same with Resi 2. I never played. I mean, I played a little bit of Resi 2, as I've spoken about numerous times. It's a bit spooks are a bit much for me. But I've never gone near Resi 3.
Yeah.
I'm sure this will have the same polish and goodness that Resi 2 had. We don't have to wait very long, which is extremely exciting.
April.
It probably won't get pushed because it's apparently been in development since before Resi 2 remake came out. So they've been working on it for a while. They've already got the engine there, obviously.
Exactly, yeah.
And Resi 2 Remake has actually outsold the original Resident Evil 2. I don't know if you saw this.
Wow, has it?
Yeah, the lifetime sales of Resident Evil 2 have now been surpassed by the remake, which is like 6 million
That's
units.
amazing. I did not know that.
Really good.
Wow.
So, I mean, at the end, at some point, we're probably going to reach critical mass with remakes.
Yeah.
But for the time being, long may they continue.
I agree.
If they're of this quality, and they're bringing us, especially, games that I haven't played before. That Resi 2 was great, and I'm really looking forward to this.
What do you think will happen in terms of more Resident Evil remakes after this, if they do any? Do you think they will redo one, which they have done on Wii, I think?
I don't think they will cannibalize. Just to answer that, I don't think they'll cannibalize the sales of Resident Evil 1 remake, because that already exists on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
You can already get the GameCube remake of Resi 1.
Oh, GameCube, that was it, yeah.
Which is a remaster of the remake, if that's not confusing for people. But we're close to the next generation, so who's to say that they might not just do, now that you can no longer buy Resi 1 remake remaster.
Yeah.
They might just do it again.
I wonder if they would dare to do Resident Evil 4.
I think they will.
Do you think they will?
I think they definitely will. That's probably their critically best.
Well,
game,
it is, but
right?
maybe that's why you shouldn't do it, because I don't know. I would. If they do that, I'll be so excited to play that. I love that game so much.
I think they will. What'll be interesting, because that was the first step into more of the action.
Yeah, the perspective will be the same as the remakes that they're already making right now.
Right.
So
So that it's already kind of in place, but they've shaken up. They shook up the formula a lot in the Resi 2 remake. So it'll be interesting to see if they do Resi 4, how they tackle the more sort of cutie, sort of the stuff that's aged not so gracefully in game development terms. Like, you don't see cuties as much anymore, not to the extent that they were featured in Resi 4. So it'll be interesting to see how they tackle that. But imagine how much more horrifying imagine going out and fighting that. I've not played it, but I've seen lots of clips, obviously. Yeah. Going out on the boat in the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And fight, was it a massive fish thing?
Yeah.
Imagine
Del Lago.
how terrifying that's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh.
The regenerators with their croaky voice.
They've got to. They could basically make it look like the opening cinematic from Bloodborne. God. With all the spooky townsfolk walking through town. Oh.
God. Well, I hope they do. I don't know if they will, but yeah.
Let's get through Resi 3 first.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be good.
For sure. So that was it, really. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. That wasn't it.
It wasn't, actually.
It was a tiny little teaser at the end.
For Goats of Sushi.
Yes.
Goats of, she said Tsushima, but I thought it was Tsushima, because it's got an S directly after the T, but I'm not entirely sure.
Tsushima.
She said Tsushima.
She just said Tsushima.
Tsushima.
It's not.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
So it's not Tsushima.
I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, that amazing samurai game made by Sucker Punch, which I said was going to be at the Game Awards.
You did?
Did I not say that?
You did.
We got like a 10-second teaser, and it said, see the rest of the trailer at the Game Awards. So I hope you all enjoyed that trailer that we haven't seen yet, because it's currently in the future but is now in the past.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it. I think it was a pretty good one. It was definitely an improvement. I think they're getting better.
It was an improvement. Yeah, I agree. It just, we've been through them point by point. You see what I mean? So, Goose Game, Dreams. Yeah, okay.
Dreams.
That they're good games, I'm guessing. But I wasn't like, wow, because
oh my God,
I already know about them. So Resi and Superliminal are the most exciting things there. Everything else, little bit, or at least not for me.
Well, what do you think at home? Let us know in the comments below. Peter, we've got about 4 minutes left on this recording.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find us.
You can find us at Team TripleJump. Wherever you want to go and look, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
Unless it's not worth being at.
Yeah, no, we won't.
YouTube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump are where we do our content. We do videos and streams. Our mods are Lord Brotovich and Cecil Prumps when we're streaming on both of those channels. Twitter.com and Facebook.com/Team TripleJump. Our social media man, Luke Eldon, of the Elden Ring.
Yes.
That's the protagonist. Looks after our Facebook and does a very good job of it. We've got a Patreon. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump. You can ask questions on this podcast and all kinds of other things by going there. If you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, it's play.acast.com/s/TripleJump. The website, triplej.mup. We've got a shop there where you can buy stuff. And we've got a Discord. That's bit.ly/Team TripleJump. Our mods over there are Jack, Joe, and Crimson Dragonfly. And we've got a special room in that Discord, which you can get into if you're a patron.
Absolutely. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can do at @ThatPeterAustin and at BenPotter20. On Twitter, at @ThatPeterAustin and at @Confused_Dude. We do lists every Tuesday and Thursday, streams every Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, Monday and Tuesday being solo streams on Twitch, and Thursday streams being joint streams, Blaze It, on YouTube. Worst Games is fortnightly, Friday for patrons of a certain tier, Sunday for everyone else. It's a Worst Games Ever week, so you'll be getting a Worst Games Ever episode tomorrow if you're not a patron. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Podcast is every Saturday, and we do loads of shows. There's pretty much one at least every other week. Speaking of which, Prove It was this week.
Yes.
We did Freeze Easy Peak from Banjo-Kazooie. We did the Let's Play first, and then we went out and proved it in the real world. We did Banjo-Kazooie, Freeze Easy Peak in real life. Both episodes are on the channel. Please go and watch those. They're Christmas themed. They're all very fun.
Yeah.
Tat Appeal Unboxing. We did it. It was amazing. You're amazing. The full video will be out on Christmas Day. There's a sleepover stream next week. And speaking of which, that will be the last week that you get a stream and a podcast before we take a break over Christmas. We'll clarify in next week's podcast fully, but basically, we're not going to be here. So you'll still be getting stuff over Christmas and New Year's, but it'll be a bit more sporadic. And next week's episode is going to be a Christmassy episode. So make sure you get your Christmas questions in when we ask for them. And also go and vote for the Games of the Year.
Yeah.
We've got 1 minute left. Just enough time to talk about Resident Evil 3.
Wow.
Are you young? Maybe you're not. Maybe you want to pretend how to do a wedding in front of the old ones. The old ones, they're lonely. They want to see you be in the part doing the wedding.
Do a kissings.
They want you to do kissings in the pretend wedding. You can sign up for that if you go to Residence, which is Resident '(S).
You can't put an apostrophe in it.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
.e-veil, VEIL, 3, the number 3, or the word, doesn't matter, .com/sign up now. I'm a cool guy or girl or other. And you can just go and entertain the old people, and I think that's very nice.
I'm just hoping they do Resident Evil 4 one day.
Well, hopefully they won't, Peter, because Resident Evil 3 will be so successful.
Yeah, maybe.
That they don't need to reboot it a fourth time because, they got loads of people signing up and all the old people are entertained this Christmas. Anyway, that's enough. The time is going off. We've got to go now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.